around 2004, 5, 6, the so-called Web 2.0 came along, and it was the rise of social media, where we suddenly could comment. The blogging was coming up back then. You suddenly could comment and write down your opinion on certain pieces, and from that, Facebook and Twitter and all these companies, which are centralized companies on top of an open internet. So basically, in the early 90s, people were basically enjoying the internet and saying, this will be the revolution, it opens communication for everyone. But then, because of financial reasons, business model reasons, these giants came along, and they had a lot of money to put in from the beginning. They could suffer a lot of losses until they reached this massive important scale they have today, and are the biggest companies ever. The problem with them is they are completely centralized. They dictate what we see. They push ads upon us all the time. It's their model. Their model is to get as much data from us as possible. And then in the early 90s, there were the so-called cypherpunks. People like Adam Back, for instance, who is one of the inventors of Hashcash, which is used by Satoshi Nakamoto in Bitcoin, was an early privacy advocate and cryptographer in these years. The USA wanted to forbid, or they basically banned cryptography. But cryptography is only mathematics. And it's also freedom of speech in cryptography. And so they basically won this war, and the government in the US said, yes, encryption of data is a part of the First Amendment of the US. So a basic right. So in came these big companies, and the cypherpunks always said the goal of technology should be to honor the privacy of people as much as possible, and just use this amount of code or software or data from the people that is really, really needed to function, to make this software work. And that is the basic idea behind Bitcoin. You have to think about that, because those cypherpunks were those who wanted to create digital money and also save our privacy. And that is where Bitcoin comes in. And the Web3, what we see now, and that's what meant with this book, is the total decentralization of the internet, making it possible. We have websites like Keat.io, for instance. With Keat, you can send huge amounts of data peer-to-peer. It's like Bitcoin, you send it peer-to-peer. You don't need these companies anymore. And the greatest thing about that, about cryptography and the private keys you hold to your own data, which is also what you do with Bitcoin, is you can restrict, like on a granular basis, who is allowed to see your data and what are they allowed to do with it. So the disruption that the Bitcoin technology and cryptography is bringing is going from centralization, pushing ads on you, extorting you basically.
And we say essentially saying, what you're saying is that age is coming to an end.
Yes,